I love Marvel all my life. As a young person, it was basically, one of the first places that I really learned to think about writing. And so any opportunity to write for Marvel, I just couldn't turn it down. Well, I think if you're like a young man in West Baltimore, and all around you is a considerable amount of powerlessness, you probably have an attraction to people with power. I could lose myself for long periods of time with comic books. I never had enough money to buy enough. Like, that's what I remember, like just not being able to buy enough. Because I didn't just collect the issues as they came out. I collected back issues. Well, I used to keep like an inventory of all my comic books. I have an inventory. I put them in the plastic bags with the blackboards and everything. The Black Panther is T'Challa, who is the king of the mythical kingdom of Wakanda. T'Challa is supposed to be this genius who can do everything. Fighter / genius / whatever. Basically the dream of nerds everywhere. And he's African, to be clear, but there had not been a black superhero in comic books quite like him before. So yeah, it was tremendously radical. I always perceived Marvel and comic books in general as incredibly diverse, as compared to like when you cut on the television, or when you went to the movies. When I came of age, there were black superheroes. They just were in the comic books, and very rarely did they spend much time discussing what their presence meant. They just sort of existed. That was tremendously radical for me as a young boy. But as a creator, you can only tell yourself so many times, it's so cool to have this black dude doing X, Y, Z. In fact, you really shouldn't be telling yourself that at all. It's so irrelevant as to whether it works or not. When you're writing, you don't really think too much. I don't think too much about diversity. Again, like it has to be good. It's a very backwards, in my mind, process of writing. It's the process of writing, I guess screenplays, of writing comic books, but it's not the process of writing journalism. I've had to totally rethink certain things. If I want to introduce somebody, say a villain in a scene, or even T'Challa in a scene, that's tough to do. Because in fact, before I even thought of the words, I had to think of what actually happened in the scene. So what was going on? What is T'Challa doing? Where is T'Challa? And then you can put the words in afterwards. So it's different. Comic books work on action. Comic books work on violence and people punching people. And that sounds like, the obvious thing, but it's not something that I immediately thought about when, I signed up. I don't know, I want this to be, the best Black Panther run there's been. I want this to be one of the best runs that Marvel has ever done. And I want to elevate the stature of the character.